And good Saturday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. As we begin today, an accident is happening right now. I-20-59 split is where this is, right around the mile marker 148, 147. Let me pull up the map and show you exactly what we're looking at this morning of where all this is happening right now. Numerous emergency officials are on the scene right now. Let's pull this up where you can see this. This is where the accident is, the southbound lane around the 148, right along in here. As you turn coming out of Meridian, you back up and look at this as you go south. The 148, right along in here is where this will be. This is an 18-wheeler that struck a guardrail, flipped, caught on fire. We're not 100% sure at this point about injuries. It was reported earlier the possibility that the driver did make it out. We're keeping fingers crossed on this at this point. All of this, again, happening now and getting updates as we look at this just to make sure that we get everything we can on it to be up to the date of the latest. Now, the truck was hauling laundry detergent, which makes it not as flammable. You could see the smoke from 29th Avenue, I'm told, just a little bit ago. The diesel fuel is what's burning now from the saddle tanks. So we're working on that. The fire department, Lost Gap is there. Several agencies, fire rescue, the whole 9 yards from the Meridian area to help put this fire out. So we're hoping this will be contained. I-59 is shut down totally at this point. If you've got to go out of town, hang it up. The last I got was even past Sam's on I-20 as you're heading out of town toward the Jimmy Rogers exit, backed up to there. So we're watching this, getting the information as soon as we can to pass along to you. Huge fire from what I understand, though. And again, we are sending prayers on that wreck that he did make it out. So we'll let you know as soon as we know on that. As I have gotten several questions, some things I know, some things I don't. There has not been any updates from Newton County on the adult and the male and the child that was found deceased in a yard. We're still waiting for word from Sheriff Jody Pennington on this. They are still investigating this. As soon as we get more information on that, we will pass it along. But at this point, nothing has happened on that, no new information. Also, I've been asked several times about the wreck that happened on Aycock Road in Lauderdale County. No updates at this point other than extreme prayers are needed for this child that was involved in that wreck. So we send along prayers on this, and hopefully everyone's going to be safe on this. So I'll keep prayers going for that child that certainly needs it, but no major updates on that at this point. As we start looking around at other things that have gone on, we had a wreck last night. At least 3 cars involved. North Hill Street is where this would be, pretty much directly in front of Fire Station number 7, right there at 10th Avenue. 3 to 4 cars were involved in that. Emergency responders responded to that. I don't think it was any major injuries, but Metro had to arrive to help out with that. We also got the report of a home that was heavily damaged in the city limits of Meridian last night. The 800 block of Bragg Avenue is where all that happened last night. As we pull in this to take a look at this, this is Bragg Avenue right here. Would be near St. Andrew Street as we look at this. As you back out the big picture of this, this is 22nd Avenue, right here at the Children's Museum, SMI, the Meridian Police Department. It would, if you were to follow C Street, you would come pretty much to where that is, at C Street. So that's the information that we've got on that at this point, as a home was heavily damaged on that. Now, I also got a report, and I posted this just a little bit ago, as we found out that a vehicle was stolen last night off the side of I-20. I believe somebody had gone in, possibly with some deer hunting or something to that effect, last night as they pulled that up. This is the vehicle that was stolen off the side of I-20. If you happen to see this, report it to the Meridian Police Department. It's a 2000 model Silverado. We do not have a tag number for it yet, but we have asked for that, so maybe we'll get that so we can pass that along. As we go back, here's the scene of the 18-wheeler was to go look at this morning of what we've got right now. Here's the scene as emergency officials are on the scene there. And again, stepping back to what we had talked about originally, all of that area is blocked right now. So avoid the area. If you've got to go to Hattiesburg, if you've got to go to Jackson, you're going to have to postpone that. The only way that you could go around that would be go to H Street and go 80 West. That way back by the Rustler in that direction to avoid all that, and then jump on the interstate there at Lost Gap would be the only way that I would know to get around all of that at this point. We also wanted to mention this. We'd mentioned this happened yesterday in Bailey. A utility trailer was stolen out of someone's yard. We pulled this up, and again, this is the Bailey community. Here's the tag. I got all the information on it if you happen to see this. Small utility trailer that would haul a lawnmower. It would haul a golf cart, that size there. I've got all the information on the page. If you happen to see it, the owners would certainly love to have that back. As we all know, those are not cheap these days in any shape, form, or way. We also, yesterday afternoon, had reports of a fire in the West Lauderdale area. Boy, it has been a bunch of fires lately as we look at this, as we pull this up. Now, what we got from the volunteer fire departments and a bunch of people responded to this. This was the 11,000 block of Williamson Road. Collinsville, Martin, and the Bailey Volunteer Fire Department responded to this. Only one room was heavily damaged. The fire department was able to save the others as we look at this as the smoke was boiling out. So good news on that behalf as the home was saved. Hate to see anybody have damage, but I guess the blessing is a small amount instead of major damage in the whole house. And Barbara, I agree with you. So sad with all the stealing going on throughout the area. A lot went on overnight. We running a little late this morning trying to get all the information that possibly could have happened. As always, we may find out more as daylight is now up and going. We may find out a little bit more there. We did have a report of a fender bender there. It just seems to happen at North Hills and Highway 39. We had another fender bender there yesterday afternoon. Whoops. It happens. No major injuries, which is good with that. Always good to know that. Anybody ever seen the movie 3:10 to Yuma? Western. Had Russell Crowe in it. One of the lines that always stuck with me in that was when he got mad at the bad guy. He told him that even bad guys love their mamas. Y'all remember that scene? It stuck out with me out of everything that went on in that film, and he knocked the guy over the cliff and he rolled down for saying something ugly about his mother. And this really fits that as we look at headlines. Tipaw County, Mississippi. A man is accused, and again the word is accused, of the murder of his mother. He's in custody. She was last seen the 17th of August. Her body was found after he was taken into custody. That takes a very bad man, I think. We'll learn more about this as this develops. Boy, as we look around the state, we also see that 3 teens, Byram, Mississippi. That's just going to be west of us, Jackson, on the outskirts of Jackson, on that other side over there, where 3 teens have been arrested. What did they do? They broke into a home, demanded car keys from a young lady. When she wouldn't give them, she was struck in the face. They took her car. They were caught a few days later. Now, when you say teens, what gets bad about this is when you start looking at the ages of these teenagers. 15, 13, and 114. That's way too young to be stealing and taking cars, isn't it? I think y'all agree with me on that. We look, and it gets worse on this. A threat was made to a Brookhaven school. 2 individuals taken into custody this week in Brookhaven area, which is south of here, south of Jackson, due south of there. A 11-year-old and a 12-year-old have been arrested for making threats to a school. What's going on in homes? Anybody thought about that? Justin Crawford said he sent a message there about how traffic is backed up, and it is a lot of traffic backed up as we look across this morning of what's going on. Let me see. I might can pull up Mississippi Department of Transportation real quick and show you just how bad this is at this point in the Meridian area. A lot of times it will show. Let me see if I can get that. There's Newton County. This is what we've got showing here, and it's much worse than this because I've gotten reports of it as we pull this up here. Yours probably Waze would show more. Make sure I hit the right button here. Let me go back here. This is what this is showing here at I-20. All of this area right here is where the wreck is. And as you'll look here, all of this area back through here. But I've gotten reports that traffic all the way back to about over in here, way past here, is backed up this morning. I know there's traffic in that area, but I'd have to look at Waze, and I'm pretty sure it is one of the most accurate ones that I've used on this of real time. So thoughts on that if you're traveling into Meridian near that area there. As we back up, let's take a look here at some more things that have gone on around the state. As we mentioned, the 2 children threatening that. A Jones County woman has pleaded guilty to the SNAP program, taking advantage of that. She received over $30,000 in benefits that she supposedly shouldn't have. They'll get you over stuff like that. More and more of this, and I always talk, is the word that it bothers me that someone would take from a church. It does, and that is like the highest of crimes, kind of like that dealing with your mother. Everybody loves their mama except very, very bad folks. We got a suspect that's been cutting off catalytic converters, and they're stealing from churches. It doesn't get any worse than that. Oxford, Mississippi, up near Ole Miss, that's what they've been doing in that area there. If we keep looking around, and Columbus, Mississippi, they're doing an inventory check. The police department. Guns are missing from the police department. They have no idea where they are. An investigation has been launched. We hope they find them and get those turned up. We'll let you know what we find out about that. An LSU student. Boy, this is bad. You send your students, your kids off to college, and the next thing you know, something horrible has happened. A Louisiana State University student was shot and killed in her car just a few miles from the campus yesterday afternoon. She was found in her car. Just horrible there. They're saddened by this. An investigation is underway to find out what happened to the young lady found in her car. Let's see here what else happened yesterday. So remember we talked about this last week where someone stole a fire department vehicle in Alcorn County, Mississippi? Well, they called the bad guy. He was out joyriding. He just thought he'd take it. He's been arrested. Thank goodness. Gavin Newsom. This kind of shocked me. He's the governor of California. Ron DeSantis kind of called him out the other day and told him that if he paid more attention to what's going on than the hair gel in his hair, made him mad. He's challenged Ron to a debate anytime, any place. We'll see if anything happens with that. Ron's pretty sharp. We'll see if they actually do have a debate. And it makes you wonder, are the two staging presidential runs? Pretty sure Newsom will. Unsure about DeSantis, if he will run or be somebody's co-pilot, so to speak. Something's happening there. We'll keep you posted as that. I posted this earlier this morning. Let me see if I can get this. Now, what would you do? And I asked this. I haven't had a chance to look at the comments yet, but you go into your child's room, and lo and behold, there's somebody in the bed. It's a homeless person. Have you seen this? Fox News reported it this morning. This is the mom. Look, right there. That's a homeless guy that has entered her home. He'd just gotten out of jail. Well, he just got arrested. He didn't stay in jail but about an hour and was out again. Is that fair? Is that right? As they just take to whatever they want these days. Criminals. That's disturbing. I don't care how you shake it, what you do. And then stay in jail about yay long, and then they're back out to do stuff like that. Who knows what this person is really accused of? New Orleans now has a new title. Have y'all seen this morning? When was the last time you went to New Orleans? I've kind of ceased all operations, so to speak, toward that way. They are now known as the murder capital in the United States. They have overtaken St. Louis to become America's #1 homicide town. Murder is up 141% from 2019. Did y'all hear that? 141% in New Orleans. Carjackings are up 210%. Oh, yeah, this would be because of defund the police. This is really working out good for America. Don't forget what's coming up in November, no matter where you're watching me from. You have to have police. And let's be clear about this. Criminals on each side of the aisle, whether they're Republican, Democrat, or maybe they probably don't even vote, but they're all aspects. Every race, criminals are out there. They do what they want. Vote for the people that'll take care of you. Defunding the police was probably the biggest mistake that has ever happened in the United States, or at least in my opinion. You may not agree with me, but it was just a calling card for criminals to go do what they want. And we see it every day. The statistics show it. No one wants to join police departments now. Lack of pay, lack of support from the government or the city governments. Let me back that up. The city governments, to where a lot of mayors have just gone on a tirade against the police departments. It's not good. It's not good. That's what we're seeing. And we got a whole lot more shaping up this morning. We're going to look at your forecast next. That's a look at what we've got, and we'll go back over, see if we've gotten any reports from out at the Lost Gap area there on I-2059 in just a moment. Got all this and more coming up.
On this field, as on the gridiron, each inch is fought for and marked by sweat. Each inch taken through disciplined training. With a Kubota L2501 tackling each inch in the trenches, whether those inches are measured here or here, all adding up to yards. For each yard, Kubota measures victory, and the touchdown is Parrish Tractor. Here, we're much more than a tractor store.
The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville is passing along these great savings this week. Red, white, or black grapes, $2.99 a pound. Sweet onions, $2.99 for a 2-pound bag. Halo mandarin oranges, a 3-pound bag, $6.99. Coca-Cola products, 12-pack, 12-ounce cans, 2 for $11. Whole pork loin, $1.89 a pound. And certified Angus beef T-bone steaks, family pack, $12.49 a pound.
And we're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
I just got word that the fire is under control at I-20, but I want you to look at this, and they're going to start cleanup in just a moment, and expect this to continue for quite some while. I want you to look at what we've got now on I-20. This is, there's nothing left as we pull this up. This is the 18-wheeler. Do you see that? Basically, all you see is a frame and part of a radiator sitting there. That's the cab of the truck. Let me text and see about the driver. We did not get 100% clarification that. Hopefully we'll get a response back on that. But look at that. And again, that's our volunteer fire department, Meridian Fire Department involved with that. County, Highway Patrol, Rescue, everybody is out there at this point working to control this. But again, if you're sitting in traffic watching me right now, you're going to be there for quite a while. All southbound lanes are blocked at this point. Boy, have mercy, oh mercy. What a way to start out a Saturday morning, isn't it? Hopefully everyone is safe on that. And we'll get a response. As soon as I get a response on that, we'll pass that along to you there. All right, let's get into the forecast. Right now, we're looking at 73. When I got up this morning way earlier ago and started putting all this together, we were sitting right at 60. We've warmed up a bit there to 73. Let's get into your forecast now.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at today, sunshine 89 is what we'll get here in Meridian. By way of Philadelphia, 88. The furthest north we go, we're looking at about 88 there at Stark, Vegas. That's what's going to be happening. To the south there in the Laurel, Hattiesburg area, getting near the 90-degree mark as we go across west to Jackson and Vicksburg. Looks like it'll be 90 as well as we come across and we go to Birmingham. We look at it to be 88 today. Demopolis, 89 degrees. We'll get about 89 as well there in Livingston, Alabama. Montgomery will hover at 89. Now, as we look at what's going on, we are above temperatures now in the state of Mississippi, and there's no break in sight. As we'll see this, we're going to stay in those high 80s here for a week or so, where we saw 83, kind of nice weather there for a few days. All right, as we come across, let's see here. We have today's high. This is what we've got. Let's do our breakdown of what we've got here. Let me pull up what the National Weather Service was telling us a little bit earlier about the forecast. What we've got is sunshine again today. Perfect. No chances of rain. As we get into tonight, we could see a little bit of fog after 1 o'clock in the morning. So if you've got to be out after midnight for whatever reason, drive careful. 65 for that low as we roll into tomorrow. Also 0% chance of rain as we look for church. It'll be perfect there. As we go back to work on Monday, 91, and look at the temperatures. Upper 90s there, 95, 96 by Wednesday. It's kind of warm, isn't it? We'll even see Thursday at 95. We look ahead and we go all the way to October 1st. We'll be moving into fall before long as well. We see the 24th is still hovering at 91, and we start seeing it come out of the 90s on about the 26th, and we get into mid-80s, and by the end of the month, right there at October, we'll start seeing low 80s. 82, 83 is what's forecasted. Let's hope it'll remain that way. I'm ready for a little bit of that, aren't y'all? Now, let's look at the tropics of what we know this morning. It's not as bad as you think. As we look at all of this, we really have not had a bad one. There's a 20% chance that this depression here will turn into something. Not much thought going into it. This is at 0%. And here is Fiona. Tropical storm still, and it will reach Category 1 before long. We're looking at 60-mile-an-hour winds this morning, moving west at 13 miles an hour. Now, this is what is, I didn't show that. So let's go back here to radar and list this so you can see what actually it's going to do. Let's pull up radar and go across here and take a look across the ocean of what we've got here with Meridian Honda radar. Now, these are the spaghetti. You'll see here, look at that. That's the models. Not showing any chance of it coming near land in the United States. Now, we do see that it will develop into a Category 1 as we look at this. And this will be on, we look ahead right there. That's going to be on Monday at 1 a.m. Right after midnight, it'll turn into a Category 1, and we'll get wind speeds of about 75 miles an hour. Here she sits this morning, though. We're still sitting at 60-mile-an-hour winds, moving west at 13. No change on that. But we're fortunate none of this affecting land. We've had some rain here in Florida, but no storms. Now, we look over here at Mexico. It's got some issues coming along with this right here. We've got Lester, a tropical storm moving at 45 miles an hour. Going to bring wind and rain into that area there. But the U.S. looking good. Nothing has happened. We still have time for something to develop, though. I don't want anybody to think that nothing will happen. We're still waiting on that. The fishing forecast. What's happening today as we turn to Chet's Paint and Body? We pull it up to find out what our major times will be. Late this afternoon, right around 7, after dark till 9 o'clock will be the best times to fish today. Had a little break there, a chance earlier this morning. The wind's going to be light and variable, becoming northeast at 5 to 10 miles an hour this morning. That's a quick look at what we've got going on with the weather forecast and what's going on. I just did get a report. All is good for the driver. He's been transported to a hospital to be checked out to make sure that he's okay. So no loss of life in this accident that has occurred on I-59. Isn't that wonderful? I think so. But again, traffic still backed up, and it's going to be quite some time before that's cleaned up. They'll start, the fire is extinguished. They'll most likely have Simmons Wrecker moving in to grab what's left of this rig to take it in. Again, we do know the guardrail was struck. Quite possibly could have veered off the road and hit that and caused that to catch on fire with that wreck. We'll keep you up to date on that, and that was good news that a life was spared this morning. As updates become from the accident that we mentioned there that involved the child, when we get information on that, we'll pass that along to you as well. Thank you all for being a part of this, and we'll be here throughout the day, throughout the weekend, to let you know exactly what happens in our community. Thanks for being a part of it. I can't do it without y'all each and every day. We do appreciate what you do for us. We'll be back. And again, thanks a whole bunch. We'll see you soon. God bless. From all of us here, the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: